Next up is the OpenFGA Kubernetes operator by Søren. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. Then it's your time to shine.
Cool. So I'm working, my name is Søren Schwartz. I'm working as a freelance consultant, and the current project I'm working on, we looked into a permission system, and then we chose OpenFGA. We also use Kubernetes and GitOps. So one of the things that we find difficult was to know that our authorization model was in sync with what you had in our GitHub repository. So a way to always know that what was the state of our authorization model in our cluster. So that's why we look, and we are not using Go, so we can use default functionality, OpenFGA. So that's why we look into making an operator where you can make an authorization request, and then you have updated your authorization model to store and IDs on your deployments. So this is what I will show you now. So let me try. I will leave the meeting. I need to give some access. So two things.
We'll wait a few seconds for Søren to come back with the right permissions. Authorization is easy, right? There we go. I can see he's joining already. Welcome back.
Yeah. So now you should see my screen.
All good.
Good. So what we want to do is that we want to make our authorization model. So what we will do in this example, what we implement is that we have an operator which listens to authorization model requests. The first thing we need to do is that we need to deploy the operator. So before this demo, I just made a namespace and I deployed OpenFGA. So I executed these commands. So if you want to deploy this operator, I fetch the repo, and then you can search for it. There's a version here. So the first thing is that I will install the operator into my environment. And it is starting up. And here we have it. So now my operator is running in my cluster. So what I want to do now is that I want to deploy an authorization model request. And what I want to do is that when I make this custom resource definition, I wanted to make a store in OpenFGA and make an authorization model. So what that looks like is like this. I only want to give it a name because all these strange IDs is, I just want to think of it as a name, which I can then use later in my deployments to reference to. So I make this invoice that we also make it semantic, and then the model down here. And this I can add to my GitHub repository. So when I, for example, apply this one, if I just look in my environment, right now, there isn't any models. If I look like this. So what will happen when I deploy this request is that OpenFGA will, my operator will listen to it. It will create a custom resource definition, which is called a store, which reference an ID from OpenFGA, and then an authorization model, which also reference an ID in OpenFGA. So if we look at what will happen if I deploy this authorization model here, then if I'm now say that now there is an authorization model created with the name of document. And if I look at it, I now have some metadata, but I also have this ID. So that means that now authorization model has been published to OpenFGA. Likewise, I can also get stores, and a store has been created for me. And it also contains an ID. So what I want to do now is that I would like to have a deployment, and the only thing I want to have these two IDs injected as environment variables. So what I will do is that I will have a deployment like this here. You can see here. And the only thing, start by this, I want to add is a label references a name of the model store. I want to have environment injected from where I want environment variables injected. So let's try and deploy this here and see what's happening. And I think the operator is scheduled. So right now it's probably looking for. So I'll just wait until it is updated. Cool. Now I can see that the operator got it. So what I can see now is that my environment variables is injected, added to my deployment. Even though I only added this label myself, saying that I want to reference the documents, the store of documents. And then I get some annotation telling me that the authorization model version I'm using is 111. So this is just some semantic version, so the easiest to repeat for us when this deployment was updated as timestamps. So now we want to update our authorization model. So let's say that now, instead of before we had this version laying down here, and now I want our authorization model to evolve and look like this. So I patch it to for example. Now, when I let's then watch box. So what will happen now is that when I deploy this, since I haven't referenced any specific versioning on my deployment, what I want is just I want to always be up to date with the latest authorization model used. So I want, without touching anything, I only want to update my authorization model, and then I want all my deployments to automatically just reference the new model. If I do this, you can see now my pod restarted, so my deployment changed. And if I look at it again, and you can see also if we look at our authorization model, here, so I applied this request, having this one, and now if I look at the authorization model, yeah. So if I now look at my authorization model, which is the resource definition my operator is creating, I can see now there are two models listed here with two IDs. And if I look now at my deployment, it now references the new one. 7J is the one referenced down here. So without touching anything on my deployment, I can just always reference the latest model. There are some metadata changed up here, so now I can see I'm listening to 112. So I have this traceability in my system. Now, if I don't want to update always to the latest version, I want to fix it. And you can add some annotation here. which tells me that I always want to listen to, for example, 111. So if I deploy this again, what I want to see is that my deployment will again change and then reference the old model, so that I'm in control of when I'm deploying, updating each my different deployment files. So I will apply this one here, and my operator will then find it. Right now we are using a reconciliation of 45 seconds. Works for us, but you can configure it. So now you see it restarted. So my operator found it. You can look at it again. So if we look at this old one, what I want now is that I want to reference this model up here, which I see it is. It is the 111. My annotation is changed, so now I have both of these, which I put myself, but those updated from my operator. I can also see that, I'm using 111. And I'm also confident that it's only you can see on the timestamp that it's only my authorization model which updates and not my store IDs. So that's the demo. The project itself is up here at the GitHub. I also think there's some link to it. And if anybody else is using Kubernetes, and please, it could be really cool to get some issues or people telling us how they managed to have both their authorization models in sync with in a GitHub way. But this is at least a start from us. So that's the deal.
So, thank you very much, Søren. I think this is pretty cool, and it's a problem we heard customers have. So we will try to. We will look into it a little more and see how we can collaborate on making it better with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Can I say something? This is pretty cool. I myself have been fighting with persisting the model, like within init containers, having to, for example, whenever you persist a model, then the model ID comes in a JSON, so then you have to pass to JQ. Yeah, it's really messy, so this is really cool. I just have a question. Whenever you reconcile the authorization model, have you tried any failure mode where the model cannot be synced? Because I saw, like, when you list, for example, the models, it only show you the name and the age, but not the status of the synchronization with the FGA server. Like, I persist a model through Kubernetes API, and then can I track the status of the synchronization with the server, or is this synced, or how does this work?
Maybe let's see if I answer your question, if I understand it correct. I mean, the operator is handling all the communication to OpenFGA, and it will only update this resource authorization model resource if it succeed communicating with OpenFGA.
But it's synchronously.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just right now it's just implemented as we can say one transaction going through the state of the cluster, getting all the customers getting the stores, and so from the request syncing the stores and the authorization models, so that those are in sync. And when those are in sync, the next step is comparing those with the state of the deployments. Right now, we only use deployments to deploy the jobs. It hadn't been implemented right now. So it's like you can say item dependent steps. First updating the resource definitions, and then update the deployments. So if something fail, it would just try again and again.